Okay, and you're gonna start in
Let's get
three,
ready to
two,
rumble!
one.
All right, locators, it's that time again. It's time for our next guest here. We got episode 12. I always love bringing new people onto the show, get different perspectives, just get insight on, what's going on in other people's lives. Cause, it can't just be about us on here talking about, whatever the fuck we be talking about, But with that said, man, without further ado, we want to introduce to you Mr. Blair Moon.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Uh,
What's good, man?
got you, bro.
None much. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing great today.
Appreciate you for joining us here on the location, man. We know it's out there on the West Coast. What is it, like by 5 p.m.
Yes,
midday?
bye.
LA
Bye.
traffic is crazy. You have any issues with traffic today?
Earlier for one of my friends, something that her job had going on, and it's a LA marathon today.
Okay.
So the traffic was crazy. It was like tons of streets shut down. So like when I was on my way there, because I had never been to this place before where we were going, so I had it in my GPS, and it went from being like 10 minutes away to being 30 minutes away. And I'm
Yeah.
like, did I make a wrong turn somewhere? Like I didn't know what happened. And then I called her and she like, no, it's a marathon going on today. So it just messed everything up. But they ended up pushing the time of the event back a little bit because of the fact that everybody was late because of the marathon. So
Right.
it's crazy out here. Times it is.
No, definitely. I definitely feel that. And before we get into the rest of the show, we just want to give you opportunity just to let our listeners and our viewers know, what it is that you do, your passions and kind of stuff that you're working on right now.
All right. Well, I am an entertainment reporter, like interviewing celebrities. That's what I originally moved out to Los Angeles to pursue. I came out here about maybe 10 months ago. And I came out last June, so pretty soon here it'll be a full year. And I came out here, I was working, I transferred from my job back home. I was working there for a few months, and I ended up finding a job within TMZ. So I'm currently working for TMZ, getting a start on my career. Also doing some interviews for like other websites and things on the side as well. So that's where my passion is right now, interviewing celebrities. I've always been in the pop culture since I was a kid. So being able to now work in that industry has been great so far.
Nice.
Oh, I like that.
So I know a lot of people, they kind of get intimidated by like the leap of moving to LA and just kind of going out there and taking that leap of faith. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, man, it's been a lot. It's been a journey so far.
Mhm.
When I first got here, I didn't know anyone. I came out here like on my own. There was one person I knew that lived here. It was like a family friend that I had grew up with. She doesn't even live out here anymore. So it was like I came out here just by myself, really just looking to make something out of nothing, really. And honestly, I just been working like between both jobs, meeting new people, going to different events, really trying to get myself out there, connect with different people. So as far as that aspect goes, it's been great. Like I've met tons of people. It's definitely going better than I thought thought it originally would. Because you move so far away from home, you don't know how it's gonna go. Like it could go like either extremely well or it can go the opposite direction. Then you got to figure out like what's my backup plan.
Yeah.
But I came here without really a backup plan, just like this has to work, this has to take off. And yeah, here we are today.
Let's give Blair a round of applause, man. That's dope. That is real dope.
Off the
You know,
faith. I love that.
definitely
Yeah,
love to hear stories
just
like that,
a bit.
man. You know?
Yeah, that's really all it was. Like faith really, I would say, has brought me this far because
Mhm.
it was a struggle here in the beginning. Let me tell y'all, it was not easy. I had days where I was going through it.
Mhm.
But honestly, it's been great lately and I love it here. And I'm
That's
almost at
excellent.
a full year. So
That's excellent. That's excellent. Congrats
Hey.
to almost a full year in LA. Before we get into the next bulk of our show, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start off with a game for our culture shock segment. we got a man of the culture here. So we got Britt. She's got some questions for our game. So we're gonna go ahead and give her the floor to get us started with this game.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. So the name of the game is Who's Coming to Dinner? And we have two picks of different celebrities in basically the same genres of categories. So like two actresses, two movie directors, two sports people, two different people. Your job and everybody else's job is to basically pick which people would you invite to your dinner table if given the opportunity.
Okay.
So you have 3 seconds to decide. Everybody has 3 seconds to decide. And let's go with the first one. So our first one is Holly Berry or Zendaya.
Halle Berry.
That was great. What's
Zendaya.
everybody else's?
And then
Why Zendaya over
Zen-
Holly Berry?
Zendaya, but she gotta show up like Rue.
what?
Oh my God. Okay, cool. So the next
We are
one.
supposed to blurt the answer out, right? I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah,
you're
you're
good.
good.
Okay.
You're good. So the next one is Jay-Z or Rihanna.
Ooh,
Mm.
Rihanna.
Ooh.
I think I say Rihanna too.
Wow.
I'm gonna go say Hove.
Wow. The defying answer. Okay, Rihanna's why and Jay-Z's why.
I chose Rihanna. I don't really know why I chose Rihanna. I just feel like I don't know really how much me and Jay-Z gonna talk about for real. Like, I don't know what all he's willing to offer during that dinner. Rihanna, I feel like that could just be like a fun, little casual dinner.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be more enjoyable.
Mm.
I feel that. Yeah, I feel like the Jay-Z is, I don't know, to me it's too cliche. The
Dinner with Jay-Z.
yeah, the rock brunch with Jay-Z. I want to ask Rihanna about her baby.
Oh,
I feel like
God.
dinner with Jay-Z might be kind of intimidating for some reason.
Yeah, I feel that.
I could feel it. That's actually the reason why I didn't pick Rihanna, because she having a baby. I don't need her. I don't want her to be around all this ruckus. She want to relax. She might want to put her feet up.
She's been outside
I'm gonna be
lately.
playing
Rihanna
loud
been outside.
Low key though, she
She
do
has
be
been
outside.
outside.
She has
Yeah.
been outside. But I
Yeah,
know it's coming around that time. She gonna want to
right. She gonna
put
chill
her
out.
feet up somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the next one is Denzel Washington or Viola Davis.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Viola.
Ooh, okay.
I met Denzel a few months ago, so I'm gonna go with Viola.
Oh, a flick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We can get into that story time later in the show.
I'm gonna say
Oh.
Denzel.
I'm gonna say Viola Davis.
Okay. Blair already said his why. So Kane and Alex.
Much respect to Viola. I love Viola, but I'm more of a fan of Denzel personally,
Mhm.
and I just I grew up watching all Denzel, so I just like to talk to him about just all the shit he's done.
I would invite Viola Davis so I can bug her about how to get away with murder ended, because that show is so heavy. It's so many layers to that, and I'm just
I
like,
gotta watch that.
it's so good. It's so good. Like she killed that role, but it was so intense. Like that's how good it was.
Yeah.
I was so emotionally invested in it. I had to take a break from it and be like, all right, I can't do this. So I would be asking her like how the rest of the series ended, because that's how good she was. So definitely. And I'm gonna ask her about the Michelle Obama
I was gonna say, yeah, the new the series coming out. I
yeah.
feel like Viola Davis, she just been killing it lately. Like every single role, she really bodies it. Like I just have such a respect for her. It'll be cool to hang out with her.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this one is for the journalists a little bit. So Charlemagne the God or Noriega?
I'm gonna do Noriega. And that's just strictly off the fact that I met him and he was actually really cool. But Charlemagne has been like real cool lately. Like I know in the beginning of his career, he was like a little like out there, that's kind of how he built a name for himself. But I also have a respect for him as well. Like recently, like he's been killing it. Like he just interviewed Kamala Harris, the vice president. Like he's been doing his thing. So Charlemagne is cool.
Yes. Kane, Alex.
I do Nori.
Yeah, I do Nori too.
Okay. So we all know you around here. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Charlamagne.
I feel like that. I feel like Nora would be more fun.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like I like his
Charlamagne seems
energy.
like too serious. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Charlamagne might be pressing you, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Charlamagne gonna ask the whole table questions that nobody wants to answer. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
okay, the next one is a Tyler Perry or Jordan Peele.
Ooh,
Mm.
I want to go Tyler.
Oh, okay.
And that's strictly off me. I've been a fan of Tyler's for a long time now.
Mhm.
Like ever since a kid, like I've been watching all his shows, movies. Jordan Peele, he's still kind of like new in the game. Not really all that new, but like he's still kind of like on the rise with like his films and everything like that. So I'm gonna go with Tyler.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Jordan Peele just because because I also like with especially like with a lot of Tyler Perry's like early like plays, not even like the movies, but I remember like my mom and my grandma used to get like the plays on film. So like my like history with Tyler Perry goes back a little bit, but as far as like what I love watching, like Jordan Peele's movies to me are just like his mind is so crazy to me. So I would definitely just like want to invite him just to have like a conversation and how he just comes up with a lot of this stuff and like how he spins like a lot of classic movies like Candyman, for instance, like just kind of how he, put his own taste and his own sauce on that.
But I'm gonna go with you on that one, Jordan. Much respect to Tyler, but I don't know, Jordan. I'm just like a big like comedy head,
Mhm.
and like I know Tyler got his comedy side too, but Jordan, that's like almost his. I mean, he got the scary movies too. He kind of delving into, but I don't know. I would like to just talk to him about like who's his favorite comedians and what got him into comedy.
It would be kind of fun to pick Jordan Peele's brain a little bit and just see
Mhm.
what's going on there because he makes some pretty interesting movies. So everybody loves his movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And our last dinner guest choices are LeBron James or Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
LeBron James.
That's hard, man.
It is hard.
I say, oh, that's real hard. I'm real in between, but I go with Brian.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
Bronze and then the Michael Jackson. I said Michael Jackson.
Jackson.
You say that again so we can edit that out. LeBron James, people, y'all say why, and then Michael Jordan.
Well,
You say why.
I say LeBron James because we be watching The Shop and like he just seems like really cool. I feel like Michael Jordan, he cool, but I feel like he might be like a little serious and he kind of more like I feel like he like one of them like old heads where it's like unless I like am like the number 2 and like the leading scoring in the NBA, he not really gonna want to talk to
Yeah.
me for real.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but I feel like Brian like having a me and Brian could talk about anything. Like he could talk about hip hop, like we could talk about movies, like we could talk about sports, like not just basketball. So that's why I would say Brian.
I would be a lot like very intimidated by Jordan. That's what I feel like. Brian, I feel like he just like very open and you just like talk to him about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead. Is it too late to change mine? Because as I was thinking about my answer, I'm like, yeah, LeBron seemed like a better choice. So I'm gonna go ahead and say LeBron as well. He just seemed like it'd be more fun.
Yeah.
Low-key.
Yeah, all respect to Michael Jordan. Now, if we talking about parlays, then maybe it might be a different discussion.
I feel
All
it.
right. Well, thank you everybody for playing. Who's coming to dinner? You can insert like some claps there or something. All right, y'all can get back to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany, for that. All right, so we just got a couple questions. Want to pick your brain, to get to know you a little bit more. So, you said you out in LA right now. You're interviewing celebrities. You're in journalism. So, what are some of the challenges that you face? Being like a Black person in this space in LA, dealing with people in Hollywood. What kind of challenges have you come across so far?
I've come across A lot of challenges. So before I even moved out to Los Angeles, I had started my own website that I was working on. It was called it's called Straight from the Moon. I still have the website. I just haven't really posted on it in a long time now. But so I was working on Straight from the Moon. So when I moved out here, like I started that way before like I was even planning on moving out here. So when I moved out here, I was gonna like try to get it back going again, get it kind of like off the ground. But I was finding that I was working too much. I didn't have time to work on it. And whenever I would try to, kind of get the name out there or get the website off the ground, I would try to like email like different executives, different people to try to get on the carpet to different events. A lot of times they would say like they were at capacity because everything was so restricted due to COVID. So I feel like that's been really one of the biggest challenges. COVID has really kind of, I don't want to say messed everything up in a sense. I just feel like things are different now than they were prior to the pandemic starting. So that's been really a big challenge because everything is much more restricted now when it comes to capacity for different events. So things that I might have been able to cover in the past, I'm not able to cover anymore because they're more so for bigger named blogs and different publications like that. So that's one of the biggest challenges I've had.
No, I can imagine COVID is definitely changed a lot of different industries and a lot of ways that we kind of go about, putting together events, allowing people access to celebrities and people just in general. So
yeah,
I can definitely understand that's been a challenge. So I'm gonna ask you to follow up with that. I've seen some of your videos where you go up to some of these celebrities, you might ask them questions. I see other people. So it's kind of like I see two things. I'll see some people that go up to celebrities and they'll just hit them with like the hard pressing questions that everybody want to answer. It don't matter how they feel that day. They're just like, I'm gonna just ask you, what's going on with your life. And then there's some people where, they have a little bit more empathy and they just kind of, ask them just like a regular kind of everyday question. So my question for you is when it comes to like seeing these people on the spot, what is your approach? Do you like when you see them, do you kind of already have a question in mind, or is it more so you more so kind of read and react to what their kind of body language is in that moment?
that's a really good question. I read and react to how they are in that moment. I just feel like you never know what somebody is going through, but not even that. You don't want to be the person that everybody talks about relationship with people. You don't want to mess things up. I don't know. You just don't want things to look bad on your part, especially if you're just starting out. It's not. I feel like that could hurt things for you in the long run. So I'm more of a just read and react to how they are type of person. But there's even like times when I've been out and like just out in public and I've seen different celebrities. And, you don't just always go up to them and say things like you see how they are acting in the moment, and then you go based off that. If opportunity presents itself, then it presents itself. But if not, you leave it alone and you wait until the right moment.
I gotta scope them out.
Yeah. And
Well,
go ahead, Ken. Go ahead, Ken.
I was gonna say, piggybacking off of that question, like he said,
Yeah.
like a lot of celebrities, they're in different moods. You don't know what they're going through. Have you ever got somebody at like the wrong time and like gotten like disrespected anywhere, like an altercation?
That's a good question. I actually never have. I'm grateful for that moment because I was just about to say you don't want to become like viral on Twitter for the wrong reasons because you can go viral with quickness. But if it does happen, it just comes with the job, and honestly, people forget about it. So it's not like it just hasn't happened yet. Not saying it won't ever happen. Because of course you can't. Everybody's not going to love you. Everybody's not going to like you. That's just the way life is. So. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet though, which I'm grateful for.
That's good to hear.
No, definitely. So I did a little bit of research. I saw that you previously were a writer for Baller Alert. So outside of the writing aspect, how does what you do now differ from that experience? And are there pieces of that experience that you missed that you wish were a part of what you do now?
It's a great question. So the thing with Baller Alert, I was solely a writer on the website, just writing different articles. But I feel like what I do now is actually like interviewing celebrities. It's different, but it's also the same. It's different because you're more like on camera, you're more out there in the forefront. But it's also the same because like after you do those interviews or once you do certain things, you still have to do like a write up of it, like an article, post it to the website, whatever it's for. You got to come up with like headlines for it that's gonna get people's attention. So a lot of it is the same in a way. It's just the everything that goes into being a journalist, you know.
Also,
So it's
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
Finish.
gonna say,
I was just gonna say so it's like all the same.
I was gonna say, what made you get into journalism?
When I was before I went to college, when I was graduating high school, I couldn't really figure out what it is that I wanted to do, what I wanted to go to school for. So I actually was thinking about going to school for criminal justice.
Okay.
And I guess my mom just knowing me and knowing the type of person I am or was at that time, she just knew that that wasn't the right fit. So she suggested journalism, which was something I had never really thought about going to school for. Even though that was something like ever since I was a kid, my mom would always call me a reporter's name because she said that I always like bring the news and things like that. And so like when it was time for me to go to college and she said I should do journalism, you know, I thought about it and it sat with me and I'm like, that doesn't sound so bad. Like I could go to school for journalism and make a career out of that. But I did not want to do hardcore news. That was like the thing that I just didn't want to do it, knowing that like no matter what job that I got, that hardcore news is always going to be there in some capacity. I knew that wasn't the main focus that I wanted to work in. I knew that I wanted to work in entertainment, like celebrity news.
Okay. So with that being said, my bad, bro.
No, go ahead.
With that being said, like that might answer my next question. If you weren't a journalist or weren't into journalism, what would you be doing? Would it be the criminal justice?
It probably wouldn't be criminal justice because like my mom knew, I probably would have hated it when I got to school, but it would be something along the lines, like whether it be like media and information, just something media related, whether it probably wouldn't be like journalism, but it would definitely still be in the same like area, the same field.
Okay.
So I actually meant to ask you this earlier when you were talking about just approaching celebrities, but do you ever get nervous, like especially when it comes to like these interviews or even when you see them like out on the spot? Do you ever get nervous or are you kind of used to it at this point?
No, I'm always nervous. Like every time I interview somebody, like literally. So before I do like my tours and everything, so I'm a tour guide. So before I do everything, before I go out and start the tour, like I always come up with like different questions that I want to ask. If I see somebody, I can never think of those questions when I actually see those celebrities because you don't know exactly who you're going to see because it's random. Like when you run into them, so you don't know who it is that you'll see. So when you see that person, you want to make it more so for them than make it a question personable to them. But sometimes you just have to do it randomly and just come up with like a random broad general question that they can answer. But that's that part of my job. But like as far as doing like interviews, carpet, or if I interview a celebrity virtually for an upcoming film or a show that they have coming out, that's a little less nerve-wracking because you have time to prepare for it. But depending on who the person is, sometimes it can still be pretty like nerve-wracking. Because I remember one time I interviewed Brisha Webb, who was like an actress. She's very funny. I don't know why, but for some reason, that was like earlier on in my interviews too, so that might be part of the reason. But I was kind of nervous talking to her. And I feel like she could kind of tell in the interview. The interview still came out pretty well, but it's just like a part of the job. I think sometimes you get nervous. And I feel like that's like with any job, really, like sometimes you just, no matter, even the most confident person in the world can have their moments when they become a bit shy or reserved.
Yeah.
Especially when it's someone you know, like you're a big fan of too.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Like it happens a lot of times. Like you'll hear a celebrity who's like super famous. They talk about meeting like one of their idols that they looked up to for a long time. And they'll say how they were just like starstruck and then on. And it's like they're a celebrity too. So it just happens.
I feel it.
So was it like that for you when you ran into Denzel? Because I know you said earlier that you had a chance to meet Denzel. Was it like that for you, or were you more so prepared for that?
Absolutely. I had no idea what to say to him. Like, I think I just told him like I was a big fan because I called him like at a studio in Hollywood, and he like stopped and he took pictures with everybody. He talked to us for a second. And it was just, I don't know, it was such a surreal moment because whenever you see people on TV, like, or once you see them in real life versus TV, it's different because you see them playing a character on screen, but in real life, that's like their actual stuff. So you never know how they'll be. And Denzel was actually, it's really, really fun, dope moment.
Yeah, Denzel seems like a really cool, just kind of like down to earth celebrity to interview. He don't seem like, he'll be too Hollywood for anybody. So I'm glad that was a good experience for you. Um, so let me ask you, what would be your like celebrity, alive or not alive? What would be your dream interview, and what would be one question that you would ask them?
That's a great question. That's something I think about a lot of the time. Somebody that I would just really love to interview because it's a lot. Of course, it's like we all have a lot of celebrities that we love, but who would be like the one person that I would want to interview? I don't know. It's a challenging question. I want to say I have a couple. Do I got to choose just one?
You can give us
Just got
like your top. You can give us your top three.
top three. Okay, I would do Regina Hall because I think she's hilarious, and every interview that I've ever seen her do, she's been just naturally funny. Like it just comes naturally for her. It's not forced. She's hilarious. I don't even know what I would ask. I'll probably just ask her like a million questions because what I've noticed in her interviews, no matter what you ask her, she answers it with a story. She answers it with like a joke, and it's just always like really fun interviews with her. I would say the next one I would do is Nicki Minaj. And I feel like that's because I'm a big fan, but it's also because she has such like an interesting mind. Like if you pay attention to like the things she tweets and the things she says like in her interviews, she just did the recent interview with Joe Budden. Like she just goes such into, you can tell she really cares a lot about different topics and things that she brings up in her interviews. I don't even know what I would interview her. I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard question. I can't do that one. But my third person that I will interview is Sierra because I just always been a big fan of Sierra. She was actually one of the first artists that I ever started listening to when I was a kid, long time ago in elementary school. So to now be out here in Los Angeles pursuing a career in entertainment is kind of like that would be a full circle moment because she was like one of the first artists I love versus to where I am now, like working in the entertainment industry.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
That's dope. There's always a chance, you run into
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
it
hopefully, fingers crossed one day.
definitely is. You got any more questions? I got one last one. You got any more?
Yeah, it's kind of a two-parter.
Okay.
So you're originally from Michigan, right, Blair?
Absolutely.
Uh,
Yes.
so that's your original location. What is your like? How do I say this? What do you miss most about being in Michigan, and what don't you miss about being in Michigan?
Mm. I would say what I miss most about being in Michigan, of course, is my family because literally I've been out here since June. I've only gone home one time. I didn't even get to go home for the holidays. I ended up getting sick around Christmas with COVID. So
Oh no.
just been out here the whole time. I just went back like 2 weeks ago for the first time and seeing all my family. And it was so weird because being back home, it makes you realize like when you're like in one location like that for a long time, you don't even realize how much else is out there in the world. So like me visiting back home, it's like, wow, like I have a whole nother life in Los Angeles right now. Like, and it's so crazy because like I would have never pictured my life going in the direction that it's going in. But one thing that I don't miss about being home in Michigan, I would say the lack of opportunities there. When I graduated college, I couldn't find a job anywhere. And I know it's because I was very specific about what I wanted to do, but even the jobs that I was applying to, I was having like a hard time getting callbacks, which I found very strange because like, you know, I had a college degree, I had the internships, I had like done 2 internships at that point. So I had done all this work that they say you need to do, and I was still having a hard time finding a job. So it was definitely hard, just finding opportunities there. I ended up having to work at the Cheesecake Factory for almost 2 years. And that was also partly because of COVID. It ended up being like prolonged longer than I originally planned on staying there. But yeah, so that was just something I found interesting, was just putting in all that work, going to school 4 years, doing internships, and then still can't find a job.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. You know, I've definitely had similar experiences with that, especially trying to get into an industry like entertainment. You know, it's really connection based and just knowing the right people. And sometimes it's also about location. You know, a lot of those places, they want you to be in those cities in order to take on those jobs, take on those roles. So, you know, you know, it's really good that you're able to make that leap to get out there, really be in those spaces. Because that's where a lot of those opportunities are. So, you know, definitely want to commend you on that.
Definitely
And
inspiring.
yeah, definitely inspiring. And last question I got for you. So, you know, you've been, like you said, you've been in LA for what, like 10 months now?
I think 9, 10 months. It'll
Nine,
be a
10 months
year.
now?
So
Yeah,
almost 12 months.
so you're almost a year. And you know, you've been interviewing celebrities, you know, making connections. So how do you want to make an impact in your field of work, in the field of entertainment, media, journalism? How do you wish to make an impact in the future?
I want to make an impact by being it doesn't even have to be well known. I don't have to be like super like famous or anything like that, but just like well respected in my field that I'm in. I want to be known as like a trustworthy news source, a respectable news source. I don't want to ever rub people the wrong way. But like I said earlier, it's also like going to be people that love you and people that hate you. So it's like regardless of how you do things, there's going to be somebody who doesn't like it. So I definitely don't want to be like a people pleaser, so to say, in any aspect. But I definitely just want to make sure that I stick to my morals and what I find to be, I guess, what I to I don't know really what I'm trying to say. I think you guys get what I'm trying to say, but just to stay, be respectable and a trustworthy news source. That's
Yeah.
what I would hope in the long run that people know me for.
Yeah. And that's really important, especially in today's climate. Like we've seen people handle just like news like really badly, especially when it comes to celebrities, like with the Kobe Bryant situation. You know, like it was a lot of stuff that wasn't true that came out during that time. And there's been a lot of other situations like that. So just being able to have trusted news sources, especially ones that communicate through social media, because that's how our generation gets a lot of our news now, is really important. So I definitely want to wish you the best, you know, in that. I just came up with another question as well. Are there any people, any journalists that you look up to, that you're inspired by, that you kind of want to emulate, or you know, you look at as possible mentors in the future?
Yes, absolutely. We got Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight. I feel like he does a really good job with his career, how he carries himself, just as a reporter. And Terrence J. Terrence J is like a big one because I watched 106 in Park like every day as a kid, just like a lot of other people. Everybody used to watch 106 in Park, but really to see how he's brought himself from starting just on 106 in Park to now he's like a film director, he's an actor, he's an author, he's written a book. Like he's still like holding it down, doing like his interviews. He's had his own shows on MTV. So he's really a big one that I really look up to. And hopefully like I can cross paths with him some point in the near future and just like talk to him about his experiences and what he's gone through. Maybe behind the scenes, he can share a little bit of insight about that aspect of it or that part of his career as well. Who else? Kevin Frazier, Terrence J. I would say those are the two biggest ones right now.
Definitely. Terrence J, he stays booked. That man stays booked. He stays
Exactly.
working.
He stays booked. Like, what's the secret? I need to know.
Well, Blair, we want to thank you for joining us here on the location.
Yeah, man. It's
Thank
nice
you
meeting
guys
you, man.
for having me. Yeah, nice meeting you guys too.
Definitely nice meeting you. Definitely was a very valuable conversation. I feel like not just for us, but for our listeners. It's
Mhm.
actually interesting that you talked about going back home and realizing, what else is out there. Because we kind of had a check-in question earlier about this, about, would you rather have a card that allows you to travel everywhere in the world, or a card that allows you to buy everything that you want, but you can't use it to travel? And, understanding the importance of going places. When you step out of that place, you step out of that comfort zone, and you're not weighed down by a lot of things. It opens up a whole new world for you. And I feel like, you're an example of somebody who's stepped out of a place that they were comfortable in, and they opened themselves up to a new world, and you're seeing a lot of great opportunities come your way. So
Absolutely. I would say, even to piggyback off of that, even since me moving here, like, people have told me like that I've inspired them in a way to just sort of like just go out on a limb and just move wherever it is they want to move, or do whatever it is they want to do. And that, it always makes me feel good, because it's like I didn't do it for that part of it, but it's like just being myself and doing what it is that I truly want to do, it's helping inspire others. Like, one of my friends actually did up and moved to DC. He messaged me, just told me that that was a big part of him making that decision, was because of me moving to Los Angeles and doing what I'm doing. So that part always makes me feel good.
that's beautiful. Let's go ahead and give you another hand, man.
And
I
where can the
appreciate you
people
guys.
find you, Blair? Where can the people find you, Blair?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at _Blair Moon, just my name, BLAIR, no E, and then Moon, MOON. And TikTok. I just made a TikTok, so I've been trying to like get my TikTok game on.
Okay.
It's Blair with me, like bear with me, but Blair with me
Yeah.
instead. So that's on TikTok, and then yeah, Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome.
I'm gonna follow you
Awesome.
on that TikTok for sure, because I've been
Yeah.
trying to get my TikTok game up.
No,
Yeah,
Kane got some funny TikToks.
I'm gonna follow you. It's been interesting so far. I'm just trying to like get a feel of the whole platform and figure out how it works really, because it's an interesting one.
Yeah. It's way different than anything else I've seen.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you again. We want to appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us, taking the time to tell your story to us and our listeners. And we want to wish you the best on your endeavors out there in LA. Keep grinding, keep hustling,
Yeah, please.
setting a great example for all the Black journalists, the aspiring Black journalists that want to, interview celebrities and be in the entertainment space. Definitely want to continue to support you.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you guys
Thank you.
for having me, and much luck with your podcast as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.